We're live. We're live. How's it going, everybody? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to the show tonight from beautiful Creston, British Columbia, here in Canada, where today we hit 54 degrees for the official high, which means fall is in the air. What can I say? Gorgeous sunny day, but it's not going to last. We are going to get hammered not too long from now with cooler weather, and apparently there's a snow warning not too far from this house. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Welcome to the channel and the show. It's nice to have you here. I hope you had a good weekend this weekend. I am very excited today about my show today. I have a special guest all lined up. We're trying to work out our technical issues, so bear with us when we go live. Please make sure to say hi, and if you have any questions, so we'll do the best we can to get to them. We got all kinds of things happening out there in the cruise world. It's wild, it's wacky, it's crazy, but we will endure. All right, let's, without any further ado, let me bring in my special guest, Justin Alexander from the Shiplife. Let me see if I got him here. I think I've got him right there. I've got him. Can you hear me, buddy?
I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Welcome to the show, and welcome to TWB Traveling with Bruce, viewers from around the world like you. And I know that my viewers have been excited since they found out you were coming onto the show tonight. And I noticed that you, well, I actually stopped in on your live show the other day to say hi to you, and you were kind enough to mention my channel and mention the fact that you're
Yeah, of course. Well, I appreciate the invite. It's an honor. It really is.
Fantastic, man. It's great to have you. The two of us were just talking a few minutes ago just to kind of get to know each other. We have never met before. We've never chatted before. So everything I'm learning about Justin, you're learning with me, folks. And this is great. I know that the general talk is that you used to work on a cruise ship. You've been on a cruise. On a couple of cruise lines. Tell the audience, how did you get started in YouTube, and how did you get to here?
Well, like I was telling you earlier, it was pretty random. So at first, I was working for a company called the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of them. Was working for about 7 years. After that, I ended up leaving the company. I was there for a number of years, and after all the traveling and whatnot, I decided to go into transition. Got an offer for NCL, to be on the NCL Escape doing a Broadway show called After Midnight. And it was a really random contract, came out of the blue. A friend of mine that I had worked with over at a theme park over here in Tampa Bay, Busch Gardens, was one of the recruiters. They contacted me and they said, hey, would you like to work 2 days a week on NCL? It's a 6-month contract. The pay was really good. I said, really? Sure. So there I was. And prior to that, a couple months prior, I had really gotten into YouTube, just studying it. And I said, you know what? I can talk forever. I talk a lot. You know, it may be annoying to some people sometimes, but I get it from my dad. So I said, you know what? Maybe I could start a YouTube channel one day. Got on the ship. And, you know, one thing I noticed was I had so many questions about working on board the ship. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I'd done 2 cruises prior to that, and I had done a fly-on with Carnival years prior. But I didn't know everything about a contract and exactly what it entailed.
Right.
So I figured, you know what, maybe I could help, you know, others, you know, learn while I'm there, but also help others that also want to work on a cruise ship, because it's such a taboo environment. And it's one thing to be there as a guest. It's another thing to be there as a crew member. There's a lot of common misconceptions and a lot of things that people don't understand. So I said, you know what, let me start the video. Maybe I'll get my 1,000 views or something like that with my first video. And I put my first video out there, I believe I titled it your first day working on a cruise ship. And the first day it caught, I believe, like 5,000 views. So I figured, I was like, oh, you know what, it's kind of working. Let me keep rolling with it. And I would upload videos. Next thing I know, I had videos in 100,000, 150,000, and it just took off from there.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. And of course, at the same time you're doing that, you're trying to figure out how YouTube works as a creator. That's a whole other world.
A whole other monster.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not
analytics and whatnot. Like even right now, I've been struggling. I just got back from the UK last week. And there was one point I was doing everything I could. I was helping my girlfriend over there. She's French, and I was helping her move to the UK with her company. And we were in a different Airbnb every day, traveling all over the place. And I would take some of my items here and I would just set them up around the Airbnb to kind of make it look, similar to the show. But I'm not gonna lie to you though, it was mentally draining. You know, I would wake up at like 3 a.m., do all my research and everything, put the video together because we had to be out at 10 a.m. It's clock checkout time.
Right.
So, and then finding Wi-Fi to upload the videos, and I was stressed out of my mind. And then it got to the point where we got to places we didn't have Wi-Fi. So I said, you know what, I'll just take a couple days off. You know, I needed it. And then I came back and the mysterious YouTube algorithm, you know, I guess it assumed I just fell off a cliff. And, you know, it's weird how I promote your videos, you know.
Right.
I have to, I guess, put myself back into the algorithm, which is, it can be challenging sometimes. You've
got that right. The kind of video work that I do, and I know you're doing as well. We're covering basically cruise news stories, and I call these videos fireworks. It's a beautiful show when it's up in the air, but as soon as the thing fizzles out, it's a memory. Now you're remembering how great the fireworks show was, because that's how the algorithms work for news stories. Because every day, extremely something else is going on. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the hard part too, just about being a content creator that a lot of people don't know about. You put a lot of time and energy. Like my videos, I put a decent amount of time into them. Yeah. You're talking about from start to finish, script writing, the research. Every day you're talking about 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of research and getting everything done, from editing to recording, which can be, either one of those things can be a problem at any given day. And then you put the video out, like you said, you'll have like cruise news, which is extremely time sensitive, you know, but there's also, you can do what's called evergreen content where people could potentially look at it forever. I have a couple videos like that.
Yeah.
It just depends on the type of content, and some of it might flow well with your audience, and you might put a lot of time in one video and think it's going to do great, and then it flops. Yeah. You know,
that's exactly right. You have no idea when you upload a video how the video is going to do. Yep. If it's a video of a breaking news story, you're under unbearable pressure to get it out because others are doing it.
Yeah.
And your audience is sort of counting on you to be on top of the stories. But then when you do something like an evergreen, maybe like the top 10 favorite things to do on a cruise ship,
take with you on the ship, You
can work on a video like that for days and days, a little here, a little here, a little here, put it out there, and it does nothing. All the work, all the effort, you don't get paid unless people watch it and it has ads on it.
Exactly.
And you have no idea what you're going to be paid for the efforts you're making. And that's the thing about YouTube. The thrilling part, of course, is you have a story, you get it out there, and the video clicks with whatever is happening, and next thing you know, you've got a nice little run on a video, and okay, I can pay some bills.
It really is. But like you said, there's just so much work involved that a lot of people don't think about. And in particular with the cruise news, let's say whenever there's a breaking story, it's kind of a double-edged sword there, because you want to get the content out there. Especially, it's kind of like, unfortunately, obviously none of us are in competition, whether it be me, you, Don, Lalita, Loca, anybody. We're not in competition with each other, but we all know that this is time-sensitive stuff. So everybody wants to know and everybody wants to be updated. Everybody might have, I guess, I don't want to say favorites, but they might have a particular content creator that they're looking for that story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Bruce came out with it. I'm sure Shiplife's going to come out with it momentarily.
Yeah.
But there's that rush, and then there's also you trying to be accurate with the information. Like what I'll do is typically, like when a breaking news story comes out, I'll jot down as much as I can. But I also try to do as much digging as I can to see how much information is actually out there, because it's happened plenty of times where a story will break out and I put the video out there. And as soon as I put the video out there, as soon as I press public to publish it, some new update comes out. And say, oh, well, you know what? It turns out, which one in particular, when they found out what ship was that where they had all the false positives, where every crew member tested positive.
The Mind Shift number 5, I think, or Mind Shift 6.
It was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that video out there, and I sure enough, I kid you not, minutes after I put the video out, they come to find out everybody's talking about, well, a couple of or half had tested false positives.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay. And at some point, you got to make a decision. Do you revise that video? Do you delete it? Or do you just wait till the next day and update?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's the price we pay for trying to be as quick as we can, as current as we can,
Exactly.
but accurate. And, you know, there are times where I'll come across a story, but I can only find one source for the story. And I'm just kind of reluctant to go with anything unless I can confirm it elsewhere. And then there are times where I'll have 3 or 4 or 5 sources.
Yep.
And I'll feel very confident about making a story on it, which was the Mind Shift story. The Mind Shift story was all over European press. But, you know, within hours of the original story breaking out, additional updates came out.
Exactly. And they came out quick too.
And you were probably getting it. I was probably getting. We're getting these comments from our, you know, our regulars and our diehards and some of our critics who are just ready to jump on us on a moment's notice if they.
That's every video, you know.
Everyone.
You know, and the thing is, and I think it's hard for a lot of people to understand that we do put time into the content. It takes a little while. Right. So let's say there'll be an update that'll happen, you know, after the video is published, and they say, "Oh, that's inaccurate." But I'm like, you know, I know, but I can't just make a raw video. It doesn't work that way. I can, but it takes me hours to really put everything together so I can give you guys the quality content that you're used to.
Right. That's right.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on the comments. Oh man. Well, you know, the thing is with me in particular, you know, my channel is growing, or at the time too, was growing pretty fast over the past several months. Back, I had 10,000 subscribers, you know, and then after I got into the cruise news stuff, and the thing was, you know, I come from a crew member background. And at this point, even right now, I have friends that are still on board the ships, friends that are getting contracts, you know. So it's, to me, I was on a fine line as well, because I had people telling me things, then the article would come out, you know. So I took a risk, you know. I believe that success, you know, sometimes you have to kind of get your hands dirty in order to get to the other side.
Yeah.
You know? And I know, one thing I like about your channel when I see your videos is you're not afraid to be realistic, you know, which given, you know, some people, it's not that anybody's afraid to do it, but there's a way that it has to be done.
Yeah.
You know, for example, one thing that it was kind of, again, one of those things where people enjoyed it, but people also respected it and people hated it, was when there were crew members, unfortunately, taking their own lives on board the ship.
Yeah.
You know, I would make countless videos about it, but I tried to get people to understand the psychology of what's going on board the ship, to get and that the ship, especially as a crew member, isn't some giant fantasy world where you have everything you need. Some people are just stuck in the room. And even when I was on board, I had my own room. I had room service. You know, son, you know, I have a family back home. You get into your thoughts a little bit. Yeah. I just relay that message to get everybody to come from a place of understanding rather than judgment.
You got it. It's not all peaches and cream, you know. It's a tough gig, and you're one of the lucky ones because you had your own cabin, you had room service,
exactly.
Where there are folks down below, you know, sharing cabins, and they're on board for very long periods of time before they get their break. They've got kids, wives, and children, and family members they only see once a year for maybe a month or so. It's tough. It's really tough. And then you get these, you know, you get the crew member who gets an email that a parent died or a dear relative passed away unexpectedly, and they're stuck on a cruise ship.
Can't do anything.
8,000 miles away from home. There's no way they can get off the ship. There's no way they can get back. The family back home is devastated, and this crew member, you know, feels like I've got to be there for my family, and they can't. They're under the work rules, and you can just see the heartache. You feel it. You can feel the heartache. You know, and all the other. I mean, these are human beings. I mean, we're all human beings. There are human beings having a great time up top, and then there are the others who are working to make sure you're having a good time up there.
Yep.
But they're going through life experiences just like the rest of us. Exactly right.
For the most part, the angle that I try to take with my channel, I try to bring, you know, because I understand the mentality, especially for people looking out on the outside in.
Yeah.
Even your typical cruiser, you know, the idea of a cruise or a vacation for that matter, especially me living in Florida, I've worked in all the theme parks, Disney, Universal, you name it.
Yeah.
We have this idea, and it's not like as an insult, but we say people, they go to these places to be distracted away from reality.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
in a sense, they leave their brains in the car. They're not thinking logical because they want to just relax, unwind, not have to think, and just have everything at a convenience. And a cruise ship is obviously, you know, the #1 spot to go do that. You can just say, you know what, we're going to just enjoy ourselves. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about this.
Yeah.
So whenever I came on and I started talking about, you know, the realistic stuff, I remember even back in March, I made a video about cruising potentially not happening for more than what they were saying. You know, I said, you know, it could potentially, it's not just going to be next month. It could potentially last a couple months because, you know, you have to read the writing on the wall. The way I everyone, I said, you know, if this is happening on a couple ships right now, you got to understand every time a cruise goes into port, people are signing off, people are transferring to other ships, and it's a process. And then once everybody started getting repatriated and whatnot, I would explain to everybody, I said, look, the way it works, the system has never been completely down like this, where you have every single crew member home, because normally there's a giant system where everybody's circulating. People, crew members sign off, and then that same day, while everybody's getting ready to go on their first cruise, there's new crew members coming on, taking the place of that. So for them to restart, it's going to take a month or so.
That's right.
If not, potentially longer. You know.
Yeah. I heard the other day the CEO Del Rio for NCL saying 60 days, and I can see it. Just thinking of the logistics of getting the supplies on board the ship. I mean, you know, the food prep that gets done before a cruise even starts, the alcohol orders, all the stock for the shops on board, the toilet paper and the hand washing cloths and the soap and I mean, everything.
Exactly. But it's stuff like that. I mean, honestly, that's a good reason why I like your channel, because you bring out the reality as well, because it's not that people just don't, you know, it's hard to really think about that.
Yeah.
All you know is usually, especially as a cruiser, you know, you just get on the cruise and everything's already there. Your bed is made, you got, you know, penguin towels and stuff folded up real nice. You know, there's all some things. But people forget that somebody is there are other companies, third party, that are bringing all those supplies on board. There are planes that are flying the crew members onto the ship. There's tax transportation. There's everything else. There's so many things and elements involved. So in my videos, I do try to bring that reality to it. Like, wait a minute, guys. I mean, I know they're saying they're going to sail on this date, but just remember. And, you know, of course, stuff like that can be met with a lot of criticism because it can be seen as being pessimistic and negative. But there's nothing wrong with being optimistic and positive, because I'm an optimistic guy. But I'm also, I guess you could say, a realist too. It's important that we stay grounded and understand that it's not so cut and dry as we like to believe. Exactly
right. It is an amazing logistical army behind every cruise ship. The onshore workers behind these ships, it's unreal. And in the last 8-9 months, in some cases, some of the cruise lines have laid off up to 40% of these people. Some of these people will never come back. They found other jobs. They can't afford to wait to get rehired. They have to bring in income now.
Way too long.
Yeah. So
that's another one of those things that I like to just kind of bring up, because that's an unfortunate reality that does need to be seen. Again, early on, I was talking about that. I said, you know, like, there are going to be a lot of unfortunate people that are going to permanently lose their jobs due to just the availability, because nobody can wait that long.
Yeah.
As unfortunate as it is, that's just the reality. But we're seeing that in all aspects. You know, all my friends, I worked at Busch Gardens for 7 years. And every friend that I've come in contact that was working there up until this point, all of them have been permanently let go. They were furloughed, and all of them, from the entertainment to the stagehands, were completely let go. And right now over in Florida, we're completely open back up. The parks are open back up. And they were told that if they want their positions back, if it's available, they would have to reapply.
Yeah. That says everything, doesn't it? No, it's really something. Let me remind everybody who's here tonight. We are thrilled to have Justin Alexander here from the Shiplife with us tonight as our special guest, fellow YouTuber. And Justin is just over, you got a little over 40,000 subscribers now, and you're climbing?
Yeah, 43.
43,000, right on, man. Way to go, buddy. We are talking about cruise ships and cruise ship news and everything else. Those of you out there who are watching tonight, do us a favor. Please throw a thumbs up on this telecast. It helps us get discovered. YouTube will always look for engagement and involvement between creator and viewer, and throwing a thumbs up our way, which costs you guys nothing. Please do that and help this channel get a lot more views, because people who discover this channel will discover this guy's channel, and we are both promoting each other right here by doing that. Thank you to all of you out there who are supporting our channels. Those of you who support Justin with super chats and super stickers, and the same here. Thank you, all of you, for that. Have you got are you setting up a sponsor member thing yet with a join button? Have you set that up yet?
No, I haven't. So like I said, just like you, I'm telling you, I'm not a tech savvy guy at all.
Yeah.
I've been learning as I go. Like even with the live streams, I've been keeping it very, very, I guess you could say generic.
Yeah.
You know, anything fancy, nothing like that. Usually I just do like a Q&A, or I just talk about the cruise news. You know, everything I do, honestly, I do it on my phone. I have a computer, but it's just kind of what I've been doing since I started my channel. When I first started, I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have anything. I just stacked my phone on top of a couple books, and you know, I started rolling. And
I know that feeling. I know that.
So I just told myself, you know, like whenever the time comes, like ever since my channel started, you know, growing, I made little investments here and there. I went and got a tripod. I got a mic that was a couple $100, you know, and I would just learn as I go. And I try to study YouTube at least every day, whether it be the equipment side, the technical aspect of it, or just learning how to grow, learning how to use, you know, search engine optimization, you know, SEO, keywords to get your video, you know, ranking a little bit more in search. There's, you know, again, people don't understand. There's a lot to it. There really, really is.
There is. It's like being in university.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, on YouTube, it's like you're creating a quick, not even a quick movie. Honestly, when you stack it up to the other social media platforms like a Facebook or an Instagram, I tell people, I said, this is a whole nother monster, because the YouTube algorithm looks at your click-through rate. It looks at how many people are sticking around. Where are they watching your channel from? How long are they watching it? And based off of that, it's making the ultimate decision. And to get people to stick around these days, with the attention spans of people as it is, to get them to stick around for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes is extremely difficult. It really, you know, so you're constantly like, I'll throw jokes and stuff here and there. I do the best I can. Some people don't like it, some people do, but it's one of those things you got to keep people engaged, and it can be challenging.
Yeah, definitely. It's an entire different deal. I mean, if you're just on Twitter, all you have to do is pop up a photo and little, you know, 200 characters and a couple of hashtags and pop that thing out of there. You can I can crank out a Twitter message in 3 minutes. Instagram, 5-10 minutes, depending on how complicated you want to make it. But with a YouTube video, oh man, you can do a 30-second, 1 minute YouTube video, but no one will watch it. It'll go nowhere. It'll never be found. It'll never be promoted. It'll never have any, you know, legs. But to produce content where people will, you know, go, wow, I didn't know that, or that's interesting, or wow, this creator really puts in the effort to, you know, get the information, make it visually pleasing, informative, and they react to comments and stuff. Well, this takes time. And time is money.
Yeah, well, it's the thing, you know, I love YouTube for the simple fact that this technically isn't a world where time equals money, which I think is great. What we make is in a sense value driven, you know, and you can have different revenue streams, you know, like I have a store and all that where I can make sales, which I think is honestly really, really cool. I try to tell my friends about YouTube. I said, look, you can make your own thing, you know, and what you make is based off of the value that you bring.
Right.
You take a risk, because honestly, YouTube is a business and a lot of people don't see it as such.
Yeah.
But even my channel, the Shiplife, it's an LLC, you know, for tax purposes and whatnot.
Yeah.
It has to be that way. But, you know, I'm sure you've seen too, a lot of people, they think it's just kind of like for fun, you know, but hours that you put here, I think, to be honest with you, I'll put maybe at times 60, sometimes 70 hours a week between research and putting the videos together.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I do, let's say I have a sponsor, and when people say something about it, I said, you know, I understand, but at the same time, the way I see it, the mission has to be funded. You know, I continue to, let's say if I have a full-time job and I have kids to take care of and everything else, I can't come back here and spend 6-7 hours a day making these videos. That's just, it doesn't go any other way.
No.
You know?
No, absolutely right. When I started my channel, you know, I had no experience, no idea what I was going to talk about other than I was going to do a travel channel. I figured that much out, but I had no idea, you know, where it would go. But I was knowing as little as I knew, knew I had to dedicate 10 to 12 hours a day to the cause.
Oh yeah.
And I knew that within 2 to 3 weeks, I would be miles ahead of where I started from. 2 to 3 weeks after that, I'd be another bunch of miles down the road.
Oh.
And then in the second and third month, fourth month, I would be able to sit back and look back and go, okay,
Yep.
these are the mistakes.
Mhm.
These are the wins, the losses, lessons learned. You don't make the same mistake twice if you can have it all avoided. But those first 4, 5, 6 months, you're just giving it away. You're throwing everything you got at it and just going, if they like it, they like it, and they'll tell you. And when you know what they like, you got to give them more.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're kidding yourself. And there you go.
I think YouTube, when I sit down with a lot of friends of mine because they see what I'm doing now, and I try to explain them. YouTube is, in my opinion, is just simply a game of perseverance and being adaptable.
Yeah.
Once you understand, like, you find your niche within the niche. Like, for example, I tell people I'm very transparent. I don't have, I guess you could say, an obsession with cruising. I love cruising. I love the water, love the ocean. I couldn't imagine living, as far as the United States, wouldn't live anywhere outside of Florida because I love. But my investment in what I love is people, and I love traveling. And I knew full well I've been to 57 countries so far. And for me, I've seen so much, and I would love to share that with people. I believe the world would be a better place if people travel because you'd understand different perspectives of people.
Yeah.
And just how people live their lives. For example, like even on the ship, you'll see women that are moms that had just had their kid, and next thing you know, as soon as they're well, they're back on the ship.
Yeah.
Into a normal society, maybe like someplace like here in the United States, you're doing what?
Yeah.
Even my contracts, I would leave when I was with the Harlem Globetrotters. I had my son, and the contract started on Christmas every day. So on Christmas Day, I would open presents for 7 years straight. On Christmas Day, open presents with my son, and then head to the airport.
Yeah.
It was met from family and friends, a lot of criticism. So how could you just leave like that?
Yeah.
Oh, and I said, when I got there, when the Globetrotters, I'm the only person there with one kid. So it gives me perspective. I said, oh, okay, so this isn't wrong. It's just people aren't adjusted to that way of living.
Right.
You go somewhere, I just got back from the UK. The drinking there age, you can start drinking at 18. My girlfriend, she's French. Her mom was giving her wine at 16.
Yeah.
Here in the States, it would be considered, somebody would say something about that.
Yeah.
So I believe travel is without a doubt the greatest teacher. So that's what I try to do on my channel. This the cruise news stuff. Obviously, I believe in giving value to people, but I do have bigger plans for the channel
outside
of just the cruise news. So I try not to let myself get too boxed in with the cruise news stuff.
Right.
I know I can present somewhat decently well, especially considering the amount of time I've put in what I've learned over the past even year and a half. Because my videos from a year and a half ago are 100. It's a complete 180. It looks nothing like my videos now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All you got to do is start, and once you do, you learn so much. I look at my videos, and even back in March, I look at my videos and I say, "Wow, this is even that me? Did I say that?"
Yeah. That's right. That's right. You forget too. When you're as busy as both of us are, I forget. I'll forget 2 weeks later what I did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I have to go back to my own channel and look at my own videos and just look at the titles and go, oh yeah, I talked about that, and I did talk about that. Or I'll want to do an update story, and I'll have to go watch my video. I got to go watch my video. What did I say in the last one? Because I don't want to just repeat myself.
Exactly. Or you don't want to give a full-fledged recap,
Yeah.
Or I'll give a little bit of details, and you can always do the what they call, call to action. I'll refer them and say, look, it's right here. I'll do that. But no, you're right. I mean, but the cool part about it, and especially with what we do, it's like, honestly, I would never tell myself, or anybody for that matter, that I'm a cruise ship expert.
Right.
I'm a lot of this stuff, to be honest with you, I'm learning as I go along. I have experience on working on cruise ships. I do my research. I study. I do a lot of reading on what's going on in the cruise ship industry. But there are some things that I find out about, let's say the cruise ship or a special feature that may be on board. I say, oh, wow, they have indoor skydiving too. I might have to check that out. You see that stuff, but a lot of the stuff, honestly, after we do these videos, it kind of sticks in there too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I get to use my my stock market experience.
That's
especially
talk about that sometimes. So I'm new. I'm fairly new into the stock market. I've got in about a year and a half in. And yes, I'm a Robinhood investor. You know, I have a Weeble account as well. So
right on. No, I love talking about the stock market from time to time and do little connect the stories of what's going on. Of course, with the 3 big cruise lines being publicly traded, I like to do that. I'm going to pop up some messages as we're talking here from folks who've been saying hi to us, who are out there saying hi to everybody else and how everyone is doing. Darlene was telling me here, Darlene Meyer saying, hi, Bruce and TWB family from Turlock, California. Hi, Justin. Good to see you both. The ads before your show, Bruce, because I always ask my viewers, what advertising are you getting? Citibank Advantage Card and Hobby Lobby. Very good. Scott saying hello. Brian is going, the dream team is here. Nibbles, hey, Justin. Hey, Bruce. Amazing you're doing an interview together. Scott, Nibbles, sup, buddy. Diane Schroeder saying hello. And they're just piling in the message. We cannot keep up with them. We got a viewer here from Newcastle, Australia.
Scott and Diane, they actually moderate my my Facebook group and my YouTube channel when I do my live. So I appreciate you guys.
Right on. Beautiful. Everyone is saying hi here. Diane is here. Hi, Diane Schroeder. She's also a follower of ours as well, and yours. Donnell, hello. Scott, and then Billy Farron is in the house. Hey, Billy from California. Eddie Panero's here. Take care, buddy. Diane again. Alexis, Bahamas Paradise Design. I don't know what that means, but we get them all. We get all the messages.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for that. Those of you who are making donations to the cause, thank you for that. We appreciate it. Keeps us going. Thanks to Scott. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Steve is saying, give Justin Oreo cheesecake and he'll play your videos over and over and over. There you go.
There we go.
Dave C. Hello from Fort Lauderdale, where the virus numbers are rising steadily, hoping that cruising will not start safely until protocols, which Santos removed, are reinstated. Yeah, it's crazy. I know that you and I we talked about this. We talk about this on our channels, and it's tough as a creator. You have to sort of walk the tightrope sometimes as to what you want to say. I know that last Monday on my live show last Monday, I had enough of walking on eggshells with some of my viewers. It was getting to the point where I would say hi, and some people say, "Oh, you're talking like a Democrat. You're talking like a Republican. You're talking like you hate cruising. You talk like this." And I thought, enough of that. I'm going to tell you the way it is, folks, and it ain't pretty out there. And because it ain't pretty is why we're locked in our houses. There's a reason we're stuck at home.
Exactly.
Because it isn't pretty. And I figured, had to do that. And it went over very well with my viewers. They actually liked that. They said, Bruce dropped the mic. He did the mic drop.
Yeah. I think, at least from what I've seen, and I wouldn't say I do it purposely, but a lot of people say they like my channel because I'm very real about what's going on. I would never, try to gas a situation up for something that it's actually not, or try to be overly optimistic. Sometimes the truth is the best formula, and the way I see it, regardless of what political side you're on, I think that the fact that people have been keeping so many, I guess, things, under the rug is what's causing the problem in the first place. Lack of communication and people just trying to do things only in their favor, and it's caused a lot of problems.
Yeah. I agree. People are accusing me of constantly bringing politics into my views and my channels, to my stories, and I kind of go, it's tough nowadays.
Yeah. Well, the truth is,
story and not be accused of doing this because of people's perspective. They're some are associated one way versus another. They're now actively looking for an excuse to blame a YouTube creator for making their lives miserable or adding to the misery or feeding the conspiracies out there. And I'm kind of going, folks, the enemy isn't human beings. The enemy is a virus. This is the enemy. We can't see the virus. We can't smell it. We can't taste it. But it's out there, and it's out there to get us. It's not there to give us a cold or give us a runny nose, or give us a fever. It's out there to kill us. That's what it's there for, and we've got to take it seriously.
You're right. 2 points, though, too, about that as well. And I do mention this is a fact. I'm not on one side or the other, because I believe no matter what side you're on, there's always going to be something crazy going on either side. Unfortunately, this whole situation with the pandemic is political. You know, nobody can deny that, but that doesn't mean somebody's weighing on one side or the other. But also, you and I are still people with opinions as well.
Yeah.
And the way I tell people, sometimes when I've had enough, I enjoy looking at the comments because I try to see what people are saying. And you'll see those nasty comments. And to me, I'm just like, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. I'm a random guy on YouTube. Like
giving it away for free.
Yeah, dude, like I can't bring myself personally to watch a full-fledged, watch a full video, find the one thing I don't like, and then proceed to comment on it.
Right.
But I know one thing that I'll see a lot too with people, and I know you've probably seen this in your comment section as well, is whenever there's, let's say, a breaking news story or something going out, people will say, "Oh, you're copying Traveling with Bruce. Oh, you're copying Don." I said, guys, the story is breaking out all over the world, and as cruise commentators, we're probably reading the same articles. We probably have similar sources. We all look at cruise law news. We look at all the same sources. So it's only natural that some things, yes, we're going to say that we're both going to say that 12 people contracted the virus because that's just the fact.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say 11 and a half, and you can't say 12 and a half. It's 12 or it's not. I mean,
there's only so many shit puns that we can put in there. Stay afloat. Oh, you're right, Bruce. I said no. I mean,
that's true. It's absolutely true. Louise has got it right. She says university is easier. I think you're right. I think it would be easier. Yeah. I never did go to university. I went to college, but I didn't go to university.
I didn't need basic mechanic certification, and that's it. And then I went to technical high school where I learned some graphic design, but that's it.
I learned to become a watchmaker. I went to 3 years of college and became a watch repair guy.
Wow.
And that's how I started my working career for about 3 or 4 years. And then I realized, yeah, this is okay, but I can't make the big money that these stockbrokers can make. And that seems to be a lot more fun. So I started taking the securities courses to become a member of the fraternity on the stock side. And eventually
like?
What's that?
What was that like? Naturally, we're thinking.
When I started it, I was 20 through 23, 24 when I started in that business. But what I found was to become a stockbroker, having been a watchmaker, coming out of college as a watchmaker, I'd go into an interview to a stockbrokerage firm, and the guy behind the desk would be like a 55-year-old guy who'd been in the business 35 years. And he'd say, well, what kind of experience have you got? I say, oh, my dad had a retail store, and I interacted with retail customers. He had a music store, so I sold musical instruments and all that stuff. And then I went to college. Oh, yeah, what'd you take in college? And he's thinking, business administration, finance. Yeah, I became a watchmaker. And he's going, and how do you think that'll help relate to becoming a stockbroker? I said, well, to be a watchmaker, you've got to be a very patient person. You've got to be very precise. You have to have a work ethic where you cannot let the tiniest little thing bother you, because you're dealing with an instrument that is your accuracy has to be within 1/100th of a millimeter, more than a surgeon, much more accurate than a surgeon. I said, I think that'll do me quite well in the stock market business, because I'll be a very patient and thorough and precise investor. They didn't get it. They looked at me, and the guy is just a dreamer. And so I had more and more rejections than you could ever imagine, which motivated me, because I would say to myself, every rejection means you're one step closer to the yes.
Agreed.
Exactly. Just give me the no. Come on, give me the no. Well, and I had one manager who told me, he apologized to me. He said he had me in for an interview, and he got me in for a second, and he apologized to me. He says, I wanted to bring you in person. I wanted to tell you man to man that I'm apologizing on behalf of myself and the company. I want to hire you, but my managers in Toronto won't let me do it, because you don't have that piece of paper that says a university degree in business and all, and they're so jaded over there that if you don't have this, no can do. He says, but I know something. He says, I know that you're going to make it in this business. You're getting in. You're the kind of guy that will not stop. And I will be the first guy to shake your hand when I see you in one of these stock market events. And within 3 years, I had become a stockbroker. I became a partner in a brokerage firm. Mm-hmm. And then I joined another brokerage firm, became a vice president of a firm. And I met this guy at vice president meetings for the Investment Dealers Association once a month. at one of these exclusive clubs in Calgary. And he came up to me and he said, "Weren't you in my office about 3 years ago?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You're the guy that you brought me back for a second interview to apologize to me." And he held out his hand and he says, "Way to go, buddy. I knew you'd make it. And I knew those guys in Toronto were idiots for not bringing you in. We had the chance to take you when you were, a raw rookie."
I think that's
didn't want to take the chance.
Part about life. And it's cool to see that a lot of companies, like, let's say, I'm a big fan of Tesla. They are really starting to push for you not needing a college degree. And don't get me wrong, I tell my friends all the time, somebody that doesn't have a college degree, what I've done with, let's say, like the Harlem Globetrotters, with me being able to travel the world as a professional breakdancer of all things, never saw that happening. I believe that college is great, but I don't think it's for everyone,
Yeah.
For some people, you could be looking at the next Picasso, and because instead they went to what was traditional, they kind of lost that drive that could have pushed them to become who they are.
Right.
Right. Everybody has their own path, and sometimes your drive and maybe your outside experience will carry a lot longer way than you getting formally educated. Like I said, I'm somebody that believes travel is the greatest teacher. I think, I've got through travel, just being in different parts of the world. I have friends that live in third world countries, developing countries. I have friends that are extremely rich, and just hanging out with all of them, I've learned so much along the way.
Right on. Yeah. Travel is a phenomenal educator. If you pay attention, my father taught me when I was a young guy to people watch. He taught me the art of people. And when I was a kid in his music store, I was about 10 years old, and I would be brought in to sweep the floors and clean the glass and dust the guitars and shut up and say nothing and just listen. And I would listen to my father talking to the customers and fellow staff members, and I would just absorb like a sponge this knowledge, this incredible knowledge. And I realized, even at age 10, having a father that owns a music store, your father's cool.
Yeah.
Because he's got a store full of guitars and drums and bass guitars and amplifiers. Your dad's cool. And I realized, oh yeah, that's true. Every young guy wanted to become a rock star back in the day, and they would come to him for advice and guidance because I don't know how many times I heard young guys come in who would be like 18, 20, 22, and they would say to my dad, "I can't talk to my dad like I can talk to you. I just can't. And they would listen to what my dad is saying. And after they would go, I'd look at him, well, that's amazing. It's just amazing. He said, "You see what you can learn when you don't speak? You just take it in."
That's honestly, I would consider that somewhat of $1 million skill that is not really looked at. But people don't realize that the ability to really listen with the intention of understanding what's being said to you is something that's extremely overlooked. It is. Like when I meet people, even my first year with the Harlem Globetrotters, what I would do, we were in a different city every single day. There is no company in the world that tours like them. I've been to every city, and especially I've been to every state, every city in the U.S. you can think of, and we've been to some places like Bemidji, North Dakota. And we'd go out to these places. And my first and second year with the company is my first time really traveling, and I was obsessed. I would go out and I would try to meet people. It'd be like, let's say somebody that came to the game, I'd give them like maybe a free ticket prior to the game, and we'd get lunch. Some of them would be like a manager of McDonald's.
Right.
But I would try to understand their story from a place of understanding, because in my mind, I was like, this person lives in this town of a couple thousand people. What made them want to stay here?
Yeah.
What made them not think about, maybe going to a bigger city, or maybe, taking up another field of work, or whatever the case is. I wanted to understand.
Right.
A lot of perspective and a lot of experience. So when people try to ask about what I do, I tell them this is why. My experiences in life, your perspective is made up of two things: what you've experienced and what you've been taught.
Yeah, that's right.
If you haven't, gone outside of your bubble, how could you know anything else? Why would you question anything ever?
Yeah.
I've been all over the world, and I've seen people live a certain life. I've seen people live another life. Like in the UK, for example, it's a lot quieter than the US.
Yeah.
Not so much consume, because we've been bred to be consumers. That's the truth.
True.
So for me, I said, you know what? let me just get to know people. I'm a people watcher.
Yeah.
I try to understand their perspective, because to me, it gives me perspective and it gives me a wealth of knowledge. I've hung around a lot of, even with the Globetrotters, I would talk to a lot of the older guys that are like 80 plus, because, you know, older people, naturally, they have experience, and they're going to, 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you the things that they regret.
Yeah.
And it gives me, as a younger person, perspective and say, you know what? These people actually know what they're talking about. Why would I not take a risk in my life? Because truth be told, I hate to say it, as cliche as it is, school's always going to be there.
Yeah.
A family of nurses, you know, if I really wanted to, a year and a half, I can go become an LPN and then be an RN within a year and a half, 2 years. And just like that, I'm good.
Yeah.
So why not take the risk?
Right. And if you're taking a risk on yourself, it isn't much of a risk, really. If you know what you're made of, and you know you've got a dogged determination to succeed, it's a safe bet.
Exactly.
That's what happened with this channel for me, and I know for you. You know, you start your YouTube channel and you're going, well, hey, if they like it, they like it. Hopefully they'll like what I have to bring.
Yep.
I know that it'll get better as time goes by. I'll just keep, working at it, and we'll just see what happens. And I hit 40,000 subscribers about a year and a half, a year and 3/4, just about like yourself. I reached that range. And I couldn't believe it either. I mean, I was amazed that the first year, we went from 0 to about 2,200, 2,400 subscribers. But I looked at it and went, wow, 2,400 subscribers. This is incredible. I'm a nothing. I'm in a living room in Creston in Canada. I got 2,400 subscribers. A year later, I'm at 35, 40,000 subscribers, and now here we are at 60,000, whatever.
Exactly. Well, I aim high, to be honest with you. At the beginning of this year, my goal, I told myself, I said, look, we're gonna hit 100K. We can do it. I know we can do it.
Right.
This was factoring in that cruise ships are going to be available for me to go on, because and that me as a younger guy, I have a different appeal and a different, maybe a different experience on the cruise ship as maybe somebody that's older. I'm active, so I'm the guy that will go into town and go get a jet ski or a moped or whatever, 4-wheeler, and just go run around town. I said, if I could do that and expose a different side of cruising to make it more enjoyable, not make it seem like it's just for old people,
right?
I think it could really build an influence. I know I can grow a channel based off of that, and then extend. But then this whole thing happened, and I had to pick,
Yeah, that's right. Well, we had several group cruises booked here. We have one still on, hanging by a thread. It's a December the 6th departure.
Time will tell.
From Port Canaveral on the Harmony of the Seas, 1-week cruise. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. Yep. We did have a group cruise for February with the Odyssey of the Seas, but that ship is delayed in construction.
Yeah.
That all got canceled. And so now we're just, at the moment, I'm not making any reservations for anything anywhere, because I have no idea what ship is going to go where and when, and I don't know what the group situations are going to be, because right now cruise lines have so many cruises they have to deliver to people who have future cruise credits.
Talking about the videos, that alone is going to be a monster to deal with. You're talking about it is well into the millions of people that are going to be redeeming future cruise credit.
Yeah.
So they're going to have every cruise fully booked when they resume operation. I
agree.
I'm curious as to how that's going to work out. And you're talking about essentially just makeup cruises. People have their money, but you're talking about you're going to be sailing at a loss for some time, because they've given away at least millions and millions of dollars in free onboard credit.
Yeah.
To pay people for, the disruption in their plans.
That's exactly right. I'm just looking at a comment here from Evan's Family Vlog saying, hello, Bruce. Evan's Family Vlog here. We have a cruise booked in March. Do you think it'll make it aboard the ship? We sail in Mardi Gras, fingers crossed. My guess at this moment is 50-50 at best. At best, it's 50-50. It might not happen at all. Only because the ship's not the problem. It's done. It's ready to go. It's a matter of the virus and where the ship wants to go. Will the ship be allowed in other ports? How is the virus going to be handled? Who's in power in Washington, as far as I'm concerned, is also a big deal here. If the existing administration survives and is still here, they'll allow cruising, from what I can tell you. Whether it's the right idea or not, it doesn't matter. But if it shifts to the other side, we may have an administration that has said already, we believe in scientists, and if they believe in what the doctors think and the disease specialists think, that there may not be any cruising by next March either. It all depends too on obviously a vaccine.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. Not all that encouraging. And Justin, you're absolutely right. The number of prepaid for cruises out there back early this year in March and April, we all thought, 60, 90 days, maybe, let's hope, we'll be back cruising. Well, the cruise lines will have maybe, 1 million passengers a month that they have to make up for. The rest will take refunds. But then it went April and it went June and July. And we're now up to, I think we're up to 12, 15 million cruises that have to be
easily.
And that money has been spent. That money that cruise lines were given for these deposits, they've used that money to send the crews home and keep the ships running and pay the lease payments on their office spaces and everything else.
Next to the airlines, they've got the second, probably in my opinion, in the travel lane, they definitely got the second biggest in the world as far as the burn rate. You got a cruise line burning. Any particular cruise line is burning through what? Billion a month, right?
The three big ones, Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean combined, 1.1 billion a month. So it's 35 million a day. $35 million a day. Divide that into 24 hours. You're talking, $1.25 million an hour.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Unlike the airlines, there is zero chance of them getting some type of stimulus or anything like that. So people have to factor that into the equation. That's a factor. It is.
Yeah, exactly right. The airlines, to me, I don't know how they can even be flying. To be honest, I really don't know how they weren't even shut down when the shutdown was going on.
Yeah.
They were allowed to just keep going. Now, here we are, 6, 7, 8, 9 months into it, and the planes are flying. Yeah, you can fly in the USA and elsewhere. But look at the load factors. You were saying how many people were on your flight? Was it Aer Lingus you were on? What was that airline?
Well, I'm actually, and by the way, guys, if you don't mind, Bruce, that video is currently uploading right now. So by the time this is over, I might go ahead and post it up. But so I was in the UK for about a month, and my flight with Aer Lingus from Dublin, or both of them actually, from London to Dublin wasn't full. But it was a fairly decent amount of people, lower than you would expect for sure. But my flight from Dublin over to Boston, I'm telling you, it was maybe, and I mean maybe 25, 30 people on that flight. This is an international flight, an 8-hour flight. I got on that plane and you'll see, if you see the video, I'll put it on my other channel. I had a good 3 or 4 rows to myself. I'm talking about across the board, backwards and forward.
Wow. Amazing, right? And that's the thing that I'm amazed by is that the U.S. airlines are flying at about 25-30% capacity. Congress has been trying to get a package through, a secondary stimulus and support package. $25 billion for the airlines is the rumor. They're going to lose $77 billion in the second half of this year.
Their burn rate is ridiculous.
Yeah, this isn't going to solve it. I had heard an analyst on CNBC back in about May or so, April, May. And at that time, this guy came on the air and they were asking, what do you think should happen? And he said, frankly, I think they should be allowed to go under. And all of these talking heads on these, on CNBC in particular, they were aghast. They couldn't believe it that this guy would say that. And I thought, you guys at CNBC, this is a little rant from me. These guys on CNBC are all about free capitalism, making
free market. What happened to that?
Free market, let the chips fall where they may. That's why the Republicans are in power, and it's all going to be, the best businessman will make the most money. But when it came to this, oh no, the government has to bail out. This is called socialism to the max. We should just bail out the corporations. I'm thinking here, wait a minute, there are 350 million Americans, and this is just America. There's 35 million Canadians too. We have airlines up here that are suffering. 385 million in North America. We got 400 million people in Europe, all in the so-called Western world. And we're all stuck in this pandemic. And these business guys are saying, well, we should bail out the corporations. I'm thinking, screw those guys. Let them go under. Bail out the people that need to pay their bills.
I tried not to get too involved when it comes to that because, I understand the basics, the very bare minimum of business, right? You do understand that America is the free market, supposedly.
Yeah.
Being in entertainment like how I am, to be honest with you, and just in all fairness, if it wasn't for this YouTube channel, I would probably have been in a lot of trouble, But my friends that are full-time entertainment, working at Disney, working on the cruise lines,
yeah.
When I tell you they have nothing, a lot of them have been moving back with their parents. A lot of them have literally no money. I have friends that are talking about, they're going to live in their car. To me, all politics aside, it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, all right, you guys take our tax money, and then decide what you're going to do with our tax money. And and what I can see, the general consensus as far as the situation, it's like they'll bail out the big companies like the airlines, but they're telling the people you should have been better about saving money.
Yeah, like those who have 3 jobs and are trying to get by. Yeah.
As somebody that went to like a public school, I understand. We learned nothing about money.
No.
They tell you to put it in a savings account that doesn't even compete with inflation, and there you go.
No, and if you've got any kind of a student coming out of high school and going to a university in the United States for a 4-year degree to get a decent job, by the time they graduate, they're anywhere from 60 to 200,000 in the hole with student loans. Then they get a job with an entity that, if they're lucky enough, they get to join a company that maybe they can work with long term.
If they're lucky.
Yeah, and they're getting 30,000 a year, and after 10 years, they might get to 40,000. They haven't made a dent in this debt. They can't buy a house. They're driving a used car. There's no chance.
Well, so for that reason, it's been good and bad. And I've been saying this since the beginning. We can't go back to normal, what people know as normal.
Right.
I think things are going to change, and I think it's in some ways things are definitely going to change for the better. Now, in my opinion, with this whole the airline situation, because anybody that's in basic business, they know that the airlines, they had the money, but they used it to buy the stocks back to make
the stock back. Yeah.
And it's like now the thing is, it's true, and I made a full video about this because everybody was comparing airlines to the cruise line. They say, well, why don't the airlines get bailed out? Other than the fact that where cruise lines are headquartered and whatnot, all of that aside, I explained to people that it's a fact that airlines, unlike cruise lines, in disregarding the livelihoods of the people, in a general sense, airlines still are viable to our survival, to modern society. So the airlines are saying, with cruising being a leisure business, the airlines can say, look, the world needs us to circulate. People have to get around now.
Yeah.
And let us fall. On top of the 30, 40,000 employees or whoever, how many people we hire, they're going to get let go. But the entire world system is going to have a lot of problems. And they're pretty much going to the governments and threatening them and pretty much using them as mommy and daddy and says, hey, look, we're in trouble. We need to get out.
Yeah. To me, I say let the airlines go under. They'll get reorganized. There'll be new investors who'll come in, pick it up for pennies on the dollar. Airlines will be in business. For me as a consumer, I've seen airlines go under time after time after time. I've seen automobile companies go under. Unthinkable to think a car company would go under. I've seen them go under. There's no shortage of cars to buy. There's no shortage of planes to fly. European airlines are going under left, right, and center the last 10 years. There's all kinds of airplanes you can fly in Europe. I say, hey, let them go, reorganize them, and clean up the books, because right now you're propping up a system that has been pumping billions of dollars into the stock market to just keep the share prices up.
Exactly. And like I said, I think that should definitely be taken a look at, because, the people are looking at that and saying, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And the airlines, the ones that have been planning and the ones that can handle themselves accordingly, reorganize accordingly, are the ones that are going to be okay. Because one thing that I believe is that when all this is said and done, people have all this pent up demand for travel. There's going to be some kind of travel boom. I think it's almost inevitable.
Sure.
Sure. I have this channel. I have another channel that I'm starting up that I'm going to be putting my video on. I do Airbnb reviews as well. They haven't even IPO'd yet. So I said, you know what? If I can get in that loop, if I can get in there, from a business standpoint, to become some type of influencer in that space, because I'm an advocate. I've been in every hotel you can think of, and I don't like the feeling. I love Airbnb. I'm a big advocate for it. So I said, you know what? Dabble here and there and see how it goes. But I believe in free market. If America is the capitalist place that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It should be, everybody should be allowed to, I guess, fend for themselves. I guess you could say.
And fail and
Yeah.
succeed.
Yeah.
And fail, get up and do it again. That's the way it works. I'm going to say hi to Jen and thank her for this super chat today. I appreciate it very much. All donations are gratefully accepted. Folks are giving us just tons of supportive messages, which is wonderful. If you have any particular question you want to ask us and you want it to really stand out, make it a super chat. I can't miss it that way, but they're just coming through here like crazy. Thank you all for those of you who are popping by here to talk to us. We're covering a lot of ground tonight, but there's a lot of ground to be covered. And, it's a big world out there. I'm here in Canada, what's amazing to me here is that as soon as this whole thing happened, the government of Canada immediately gave out $2,000 a month.
Yeah, I heard about that.
To unemployed people. I know a lot of friends of mine who qualified for that. I didn't because I'm doing this, but this is the lifeline that a lot of people have been surviving on, and we have a government up here right now that's what's called a minority government. So we had an election about a year ago, and the governing party that was in control, they won the most seats in Parliament, but they didn't have a majority of the seats. They were under 50%. So the opposition parties collectively have more seats than the government party, which is the biggest party. And so when the government now brings out a proposed, law, they have to get one of the other parties on the other side to vote with them to pass it through the House of Commons. Otherwise, the government is defeated and you go back to an election. So one defeat, you're back to the polls. Wouldn't that be nice in the United States if you had that? Anyway, here in Canada, the government in power decided, well, with this pandemic, we got to help people. Yep. So they came up with this $2,000 a month deal with all kinds of other benefits that were thrown in for those who weren't working and needed help and what have you. And no party would vote against them, because do you want to be the politician that everyone points to? Say, oh, you're the guy that wouldn't let people have $2,000 a month. No, nobody wanted to vote against it. So this went through.
What's going on over here? $1,200 check?
Oh my God! You guys got one. You can't get a second one. I can't believe it. It's ridiculous.
I just think it's insane that you got two parties that can't make a simple decision. First of all, to your average person, $1,200, especially at this point, is nothing. That is nothing.
Nothing.
That might pay for half of somebody's bills, even back then. I remember people were talking about at the point where this is long ago now. I can't even imagine how much that $1,200 would be stretched out by now.
Oh, God.
Where it was like, $2 a day is what they gave you pretty much.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Here in Canada, what amazes us is that the government here, when they got elected 5 years ago, when the Liberal Party got in, the country had about, I think it had a balanced budget. It was just entering a balanced budget. And the Conservatives, which are like the Republicans, they wanted to run a government with a $5 to $10 billion surplus, because their thinking was, we got to pay back all the money we borrowed over the last 40 years. And the Liberals came in and said, we want to run a government with about a $10 billion deficit to encourage investment. We want to get money into people's hands, get things going. And the country voted the Liberal way. They went, yeah, go ahead and spend money. We got all kinds of credit available to us. But the problem was that the Liberals, they have a spending problem, and that $10 billion deficit turned into a $40 billion deficit almost in the first year. And the thinking was, oh my God, this is the downfall of the country. Our dollar will drop against the American dollar. We'll have a massive unemployment. Kittens and dogs will start sleeping together. We're going to have problems. We didn't have problems. We had a booming economy because of all this money going into the economy. Just created more spending, which created more revenues. Yes, the deficit rose, but at 0% interest rates, when the government can borrow for 1%,
exactly.
Inflation is 3%. Who cares? Now, with what's happening in this pandemic, the government of Canada is running almost a $400 billion deficit. And the public is going, just keep going. Keep going. The Canadian dollar is still worth 76 cents against the American dollar, where it was 3 years ago. Hasn't changed a bit, because the American deficit is more out of control than the Canadian deficit because of all the tax cuts that have been given away.
I'm telling you, the United States is all over the place. You know, I dabble in stuff here and there, you know, but everybody sees how crazy it is. And I'm just curious as to how we're going to come back out of this situation.
Right.
You know, I have a saying with America, because I have a lot, you know, in my travels, I meet a lot of friends, you know, I'll be in like Eastern Europe and stuff like that. A lot of my friends get so excited and say, oh my God, you're from America. You must be rich. I said, you know, here, I'll put it this way. What I'll say about America is a developing country in a Gucci belt. Everything is credit, you know, and it's all a game at the end of the day. America is like the Disney World of the world. You know, imagine you go to Disney World. It's fun, it's nice, but imagine living there and at 4 a.m. Mickey and Donald, they all come wake you up. Oh, come on, Bruce, let's go ride the roller coaster. You know what I mean? That's America for you. You know, beautiful place, but
what are you gonna do? It's the wackiest thing. It's just the wackiest thing. As long as people around the world are happy to receive dollars, whatever currency they live in, and accept that as a payment for service, and they can use that currency for food or whatever they need, as long as it's accepted by everyone else, as long as we believe in the system, the currency will always work.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you have a $400 billion deficit here or a $2 trillion deficit in the States or whatever the number is now. It doesn't matter. The currency is the currency. As long as we have faith in it, it works. It isn't sound economics for forever, but in the middle of a pandemic, you got to do what you got to do. And I find it amazing that certain countries, the focus is on helping the population, where in other countries the onus is on helping business in the country rather than the people itself. And that I find unbelievable. Just an amazing thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, even with the dollar, I'm telling you, I was just in the UK and I might as well have had Mexican pesos over there. You know, every meal, I'm telling you, between like my girlfriend and I, every meal that we ate out there cost me about, in American, it was around $80. And I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is differences over there. Like you could eat healthy over there, pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just with the way money is, you know, money going off the gold standard, for example, money's not backed by anything now.
That's right.
And people, you know, let's say like my parents lived in a different time than I do. Yes, we live in a different world with more opportunities.
Sure.
Money actually meant something back then. Look at what you could buy with $100,000 back then versus what you can now. And this rate of inflation didn't happen until we went off the gold standard.
Yeah. 70s.
Yeah, this exponential rate, you know, and then I don't even know it, but you know, everybody's freaking out about hyperinflation and all this stuff when all this is said and done. So I mean, I know it is an issue. Everybody's just curious as to how it's going to end now.
Yeah. I find it amazing. You know, I'll see the price of gas. I ask my viewers all the time to tell me what gas is going for where they live. And here in Canada, we're paying the equivalent of about $3.30 a gallon American for an American gallon of gas, where some of my viewers in the US are paying $1.69 for a gallon of gas. And you think about the fact that you're paying $1.69 for a gallon in 2020. You compare that to 1980, you're paying 40 cents a gallon for a gallon of gas. I mean, it is cheaper now than it was then. You know, and people, some of my viewers who are older will say to me, well, I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to buy gas at 12 cents a gallon. I'm going, yeah, that was the 50s and the 60s when minimum wage was about 60 cents an hour and, you know, gallon of gas was 12 cents. But today at $1.60 something a gallon, to go back to 1950, that's 12 cents a gallon. We are back to where we were.
That's insane.
And yet we feel poorer. And if you were to talk to someone today, if you got into a DeLorean with a flux capacitor and went back to 1955, and you talk to the guy who's at the gas pump getting that 12-cent gallon of gas, you ask him, "Is this cheap gas?" And the guy will go, "No, it's costing me a fortune, man, because I only make 45 cents an hour. I make 50 cents an hour. I can't afford to drive this car." Because we were always poor. There's no difference. It's all inflation adjusted. But it blows my mind now to see the kind of dollars that are, you know, being talked about on these financial networks. When I was a stockbroker in the 70s and the 80s, companies would go public for the first time, and they would raise $5 to $10 million on the markets to go public.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the valuation of some of these companies now.
God,
that's
they're
a bucket. It's a small company. It's only got about a $10 million market cap. You compare it to like a Tesla, or you know what I mean?
They're companies that are private that have raised $1 billion before they went public. And now they're raising another billion. It's unbelievable. It's just incredible.
Shows you how times have changed,
Yeah, it is. It is crazy. So, future for you, my friend, you're going to keep on doing your channel, and you've got a second channel on the go. You're writing out the pandemic like the rest of us, and following the news of the day. And the hope is that once we get through all this, you'll be back. You'll be able to take cruises with viewers someday and see your people in person. Maybe do some meet and greets and that kind of thing. Yeah,
I think it'd be really, really nice. That's a big dream of mine. Even like when I was in the UK, I went out and it was hectic. I did go out of my way to go over to Bournemouth Bay. I checked out the cruise ships over there. I went to we didn't go to Weymouth. What's this? Southampton. I went over there twice.
Yeah.
A friend of mine dropped a tip to me, said it was the which was it? The P&O Azura was over there, and so I went over there. It's pouring raining. And I took a train for about 2 hours out, went over there, pouring down rain. But I was like, you know what? I'm already over here. Went over there, checked out the Carnival Corporation building over in the UK. Then I went over there, did a little video, and then I went back. And then I did the vlog. And because I used some copyright-free music, but then I got flagged. So that video wasn't even monetized. And I was like, wow. I didn't do it for the money at the end of the day, but still, the money that I spent from the train and pouring down and whatnot. Oh man, that sucks. Well,
you'll have to just use it for B-roll footage someday.
The views went great. I mean, I think right now it's sitting at like 17, 18,000. So I said, okay, well, because vlogs can be, you never know how it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
Like this. Usually, once you get into that, once you hit those little brackets with the algorithm, once you start hitting, let's say, a video that's what I love about YouTube. Yeah, once you have, I guess, earned your keep, I guess you could say, your videos usually start performing well, unless you maybe change the timing or you do a video that people may not be pleased with at the time.
Right.
So let's say, for example, like that's what it's hard not to be so emotional about it either.
Yeah.
I'll have a good week where every video I put out hits 15K, 20K, 26,000 views. And then the next week, or I'll post a video that on a Saturday and it'll get 2,000 and it'll creep maybe up to like 7,000 and that'll be it. I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? There's gotta be something.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the stability of my channel, things are going well. I mean, right now I'm just basically playing catch up because I took those 4 days off and a lot happened. Sure enough, it always seems to go that way. The minute you take a little bit of time off, something goes down. So I'm catch up and then trying to get back into the algorithm and just trying to improve the channel. But when cruising does come back, like my ultimate goal, to be honest with you, like I said, my dream is to encourage people to travel a little bit more. Let's say, I watch a lot of people. There's a guy in here on YouTube named Mr. Beast. I'm a huge fan. And he does he does little game stuff now with a lot of content creators. But originally, he was doing like crazy stuff. Like, I wouldn't do this, but he was giving away like houses and tipping waitresses like $10,000. But I told myself, I said, it'd be really cool that at some point, let's say whenever cruising comes back, to maybe be able to give a family or two, like maybe once a month or every couple months, a free cruise who wouldn't be able to afford it otherwise. Because there's so many things that happened in my life that I've been fortunate. It'd be one event that changed my life. My family took me to the beach one day, Clearwater over here in Florida, and I saw breakdancers there, and I never would have thought me learning how to spin on my head would get me traveling all over the world and eventually lead up to where I am now with a YouTube channel. I think about it all the time. I'm like,
well, they've always said that you can get ahead in this world if you use your head, and you did.
Exactly. Like just being a breakdancer, I kept my mind open and I stayed adaptable. There's one of my favorite quotes ever is from Stephen Hawking. It says, "Intelligence is the ability to adapt." So I always keep myself adaptable no matter what. Even like my videos that I was doing, I was on the road. If you go back and look at my past couple of videos, like my past maybe 10 videos, I'm in a different location every single day. I had to adapt to that. Mentally, it's draining because I'm like, all right, let me just imagine I'm here at my house. It was rushing. I'm like, all right, I got to get this, and then I got to get this done and edit it within the next hour. Otherwise, I got no Wi-Fi, and I'll miss the time that I've been uploading, and it's going to destroy everything.
Right. Exactly right. No, exactly right. Being a YouTuber, you have to have the thick skin.
Mhm.
You have to accept criticism when it's valid, and you have to go, that viewer is right. I didn't do a good job on that. You have to be willing to just keep going at it again and again, to keep trying, because you cannot let one bad video get you down. Otherwise, you're finished. There are probably, I would imagine, 25 million active YouTubers today.
Yeah.
And I bet you there are 50 million people who've been a YouTuber and given up.
Yeah.
And maybe my numbers are still low on both counts, because there's a lot of folks who just walk away from it.
Well, that's even my approach. So when I got back home, immediately, just coming back from the UK, I was already pretty tired, and as soon as I got back, I had my son's birthday party I had to get ready for. I had to help some friends move. There was so much stuff going on. I said, you know what, let me just, I wanted to get right back to it, but I was like, it's not the time, because I don't want to, dilute my quality of my videos, and I don't have the time to catch up with everything going on. I don't want to give inaccurate information.
Right.
I told myself it's going to be a build, but I'll just have to it's going to take me a week or so to get back to where I was, because I'm sure you've taken a couple days off and trying to get back into the flow of things, even after a couple days when let's say you're going daily, and then you take a couple days off and try to do that all over again. And you have to put yourself back into that mental capacity to do it. Yeah. And that's where I've been. I said, you know what? It's been a couple days. I can't just jump right into it right now because so many other things going on. Let me just relax. And it's the same thing with a bad video. My video will hit 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, and then I'll do a video and it stays at like 4,000. I'm like, oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Yeah. Or it'll be something where you mispronounce something or whatever. I did a video not too long ago, or not too long, a few days ago, past Friday. I decided to change it up because you got to try to change things up and take a couple risks here and there with YouTube. So it was more of like a joking thing, but I was also talking about the first woman captain and all crew, the
gal on the edge, celebrity edge.
Yeah, but and it was when you're recording and stuff like that, sometimes things might not come out the way you want, and I'll look at all my facts and everything, and because I don't per se just have like a set script of what I'm going to say, but there's sometimes where things won't come out the way you want them to in the video, right? Because the way I do my content, I pre-record all my stuff, and then I just do clips, and I just kind of edit it from there to make it flow really nicely. Yeah. So there was something for maybe something it was about a minute speech, and I kept messing it up over and over and over again. I said, come on. But it mentioned Kate, I forgot her last name. It mentioned her name or her age, and I kept saying, okay, so she's 42. But for some reason, I kept wanting to say 49. And I recorded that clip. I don't know. I kept messing it up. I recorded that clip. It must have been maybe 20 different times. Yeah. And it wasn't the age that got me. It did it first, but it was another part that I kept really, really focusing on. I said, okay, we got to get this right because this is a big detail. There was another fact that I put in there. And then when I finally got that other fact put in there, I just flowed with it. I just really didn't put it in my mind that I said that she was 49 and not 42. Right. And I got black for it. I'm like, no. But because I'm sure you've seen in your videos, people will find that one thing. Oh yeah. Out of that 10-minute video that messed up one. I'm just like, guys, I'm not human. I own it. And to be honest with you, sometimes I play a little game. There's sometimes where I might say something that technically isn't accurate. I think it was at one point I said that what was it? Victoria is a small island. But the thing is, when you get engaged, it brings out some engagement in the channel. It does, I get it, like a little sleepy way to do it. But I said, you know what? I said, the channel relies on engagement. It's like, I wouldn't say it's lying, but there's some things that you can get people to engage with your content on. You can ask a question and be like, okay, well, what do you guys prefer? You like Royal Caribbean? You like Carnival? Or I'll just say, actually, Florida is better than California. And people will jump in the comment section and say, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
But just like you bring in the engagement. Like I said, I look at the algorithm. I try to study it and figure out how to, boost my channel because I do believe in moving forward. And you do, unfortunately, kind of have to play the game. Like, with the titles, people will say, oh, you don't need to put that title. But you do have to be not clickbaity, but you have to put something that's attractive to people.
Yeah, that's right. What I find interesting, Justin, is we'll do our videos. Yeah. We put them out there, and we'll get critiqued for little things, or just get body slammed, whatever. And then we get the others who just say, everything you do is great. I love you
Yeah.
no matter what, which we appreciate, of course. But what I find interesting is that there are viewers out there who hold us up to such a standard that it's equal to is if we work at CBS News in New York,
That is very
where
true.
we've got our own cameraman, a sound man, makeup department, research department, director, producer, all the boys and girls upstairs. We don't have that. We're one man units,
Exactly.
one person units.
The writers, we're the producers, we're the cameramen, we're the editors.
We do it all.
That's why, like I just kind of roll with the punches. Like I'm not a tech savvy guy. I know that. I'm not the best editor. I do what I do, and I just kind of keep learning. And if I make a mistake in the video, I own it. I say, okay, well, I'm not gonna get everything right 100% of the time. I'm not pretending to be this super upstanding professional guy that has all knowledge and knows all. I don't.
Yeah. I'm not a CNN reporter, full time and do this on the side.
Or people will I get emails of people giving me. They say, if you're gonna be a reporter, you should learn to speak like this. And what?
I'm not a reporter.
I thank them. I said, look, I appreciate that, but I don't consider myself a reporter. I'm more of like a commentator, but that's not my aim. To be honest, with the cruise news stuff, I believe people need the content because, they need that type of value right now, but I don't plan on just cruise news,
Right.
And unfortunately, you kind of have to cater to what's working at the particular time. We can't get on cruises right now, so who we are. I'm not going to just let the channel fall apart and die. So
right.
Until we can get to something else later on.
Exactly right. You know what I find also that what's interesting is I'll look through YouTube and I'm just dead tired, but I'm not yet ready to go to sleep, and I'm just kind of looking at other videos that are suggested, and then I'll see a blooper reel for a TV series or a newscaster bloopers, and I'll look at that and go, wow, look at that. Here's a video that's 8 minutes long, 10 minutes long. It's had 20 million views of newscasters making bloopers. And I'm thinking, I would kill to have 1 million views on a video, let alone 20 million of my mistakes.
Yes.
Oh my God, maybe I should just put my mistakes on the air and forget about doing anything else.
Surprise. And to this, like even to this day, my best performing videos are my first videos.
Yeah.
My first videos blew up. Like I think right now, so I look at videos that rank. My video, I did a video titled "How Much Money You Can Make on a Cruise Ship."
Yeah.
And I'm stuttering through it, and I had no idea what I knew what I was talking about, but I was just giving people a general idea. And that video is #1 in the world for that particular search. If you type it in, it comes up first on Google. It comes up first on YouTube.
Right.
Look at that. I said, why can't I just do that again? But the thing was, I look at the formula and I said, you know what? I have no thumbnail picture. I have nothing on there. Such an concept to people. But the thing is, back then, people like a visual. I was sitting in my cabin and it looked like a cabin. And it's like, oh, it's a small TV in the back. There's a bed. It looks like a little small studio. And that alone, that setting, that stage was what people wanted. Because I tell you, I was the same person after I got home. And the minute I got off the ship, my channel nosedived. I'd be lucky to hit 1,000 views in 2 weeks with the video. I said, oh,
it's incredible.
I like the personality, but at the same time, people like to they like the visual. They want to see what you're talking about. That's why even videos, like I try to put like cuts of stuff and try to give people examples. I try to make it funny here and there and keep it somewhat entertaining as well. It depends, but some people like it, some people don't. I'll throw skits in my videos from time to time. Again, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but you can't please everybody.
No, you can't. And you have to also keep your own sanity, See, Diane's got it right. Bruce, you never make mistakes. See, there you go. There's a loyal viewer right there. I never make mistakes. What can I say? The comments are just coming in all over the place. It's fantastic. Thank you, all of you out there. I've been trying to pop some of your comments up on the screen. Not easy to do. We have 222 people still watching us, even after an hour and 23 minutes of talking. They won't go away. We do appreciate all of you following us, and thank you. How long did it take for your channel to become monetized when you first started it?
So here's all right. You're gonna get a kick out of this. So my channel hit 2,000 subscribers in my first, I believe it was like not even month.
Wow.
You know, starting my channel, because I'm telling you, like I found that niche within the niche. I knew I had an idea that it would work. I didn't think it would work that well.
Right. Right.
My channel skyrocketed with my first like 3 or 4 videos. And I said,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But I didn't know anything about YouTube at the time. I didn't know the threshold of the 1,000 subscribers to 4,000 hours of watch time. I didn't know any of that. Right.
Right.
So, and on the side, because I'm an entertainer, I do gig to gig, right? I do Uber on the side. Honestly, I still do it to this day because it changed my life. I got my car. I was home for about 2 weeks. I was getting ready to go to Ireland for some friends I was with on the ship for St. Patrick's Day. And I got my car. I said, you know what? I got my key. I might as well go ahead and, do some Uber trips. The first ride that I pick up. So we have where the $1 million homes are over here in Tampa Bay. It's an area called Bayshore. Okay. And I pick up this 19-year-old kid. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, okay, his parents probably just, they were moving trucks and everything else, And we started talking. I'm a younger guy driving Uber, and I'm a people person. So I started having a conversation with the guy, and he goes, "Hey, you're pretty young, man. What do you do outside of this?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm a breakdancer and acrobat. I work for NCL and blah, blah, blah." And I don't know why I threw it out there. I said, "Oh, yeah, I got this YouTube channel I'm trying to grow." And he goes, "Really?" He said, "I'm a YouTuber, bro. In fact, Google just paid for this house." And I said, "Who are you?" So, who are you? He's some famous video game player. I can't remember the guy's name. It was like one of those one-off things, but he just came in, dropped the gym, and left. So here's what happened. We were talking, and he's like, "Yeah." I come to find out, look at his channel. He had 3.5 million subscribers. And I said, "Who is this man? Who is this?" And he goes, after he shows me, he goes, "Hey, yeah, let me check out your channel." And I'm like, nah, because at the time I had like maybe 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I showed him the channel. He was like, "Dude," I was like, "What?" He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Bro, you have videos over here with 6-figure views, and you've only had your YouTube channel for about 2.5, 3 months. It took me 5 years to get to that point of just like cracking down. It took me years to get. You've built an audience." He said, "But from what I can see, you're not monetized. You got no sponsors. You got no brand deals. You got no store, nothing." I said, "No, I thought you had to have like 1 million subscribers to even make a couple $100 on YouTube." And he goes, "Dude, so I get you doing your Uber grind, but I'm getting ready to go to Starbucks. I just closed on the house. I'm getting ready to move in and everything. I fly back to LA tomorrow." He said, "Come with me to Starbucks." It's like, dude, because I'm telling you right now, if you apply yourself to the community you build, you could easily be making 6 figures in year, in 2 years. I said, "Nah, no way, man. Get out of here." I was like, okay, whatever. So, but I go over there and obviously got my attention. I'm like, "This guy has 2 million subscribers. He knows what he's talking about." So we go to Starbucks, and he basically just broke everything down. The monetization and how YouTube isn't just a video watching thing. And now, it's like you think about it, how many people look on YouTube how to fix a toilet or something like that? Somebody's getting paid for that.
Wow.
So he broke everything down for me. He told me, he's like, "Look, you need to apply for this and this and this, and this is what you need to do." So after that, I just kind of hammered down, and it took me a while of trial and error and stuff like that and building the channel. But after it got monetized, my first check from Google was $500, and I said, "Oh,
that's a couple trips."
Yeah, so I kept moving and moving and moving and moving, even especially because I wasn't on the ship. The channel just kept on, it was doing this, the roller coaster. Right. I kept little segments in my channel called Shiplife stories. I was telling people stuff that happened on board the ship, stuff like that. That would come up and down too. And I kept doing that consistently. I would do like maybe every couple of days. I wasn't doing every day like I did now, but that's how I got to where I am right here.
Right on. But now, do you have on your channel like any other links where people can donate to you? Like, do you have anything like Patreon or donate buttons or anything?
Process of still figuring Patreon, because I want to be able to give people some value if I'm going to do it. But I have a link for PayPal and I forgot what else I have on there. I think Cash App. But right. I don't promote that out there because I don't like just directly asking for money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just between the super chats and everything, that's typically it. So for me, I've been making what I make, and then I just kind of figure it out. But I try to find ways. I put the money off to the side, or I tell myself we're gonna put this aside and reinvest it. Because one thing I learned is again, you should look him up. His name is Mr. Beast.
Oh, I watch him. Yeah,
okay.
Unbelievable.
And his what he talked about, because I look at all these guys' interviews, and there's YouTube channels that break down why they got where they were. And Mr. Beast, he said, the key to growing on YouTube is whatever money you're making, just try to find a way to invest most of it back into the business.
Yeah.
Way to circle it back. So I have money aside ready to buy a cruise at a moment's notice.
Right.
Don't touch that. You save that. when this cruising comes back, I need to be one of the first people on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, I want to get on. I want to get back on the cruise because I love the water. I love cruising. But for my channel, from a business standpoint too, that could be colossal. It could be big, and everybody's going to try to do that. From me to you, we all want to get back on the ship to physically show people, look, this is the changes.
Yep.
Because I mean, it would only be the next logical step for our channels.
That's right. That's right. This comment here, Edward is asking, how can we support you both? Is there a way to help you make you better? And what I tell my viewers is, I love getting super chats like any other creator does.
Exactly.
But I tell my viewers that if you're sending a couple of dollars our way, fine, super chat is great. But if you're going to make a donation that's a little larger, the best thing to do for us is send it to our PayPal link, because we get 98% of that money rather than only 70%, because YouTube takes 30% off the top. And the other advantage, of course, for us is that if it's a PayPal donation, we have access to that money that day.
Exactly.
And I had a fundraiser I put together for my new computer, which we're working with here.
I saw a little clip of that when you did the unboxing and whatnot. I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, did a MacBook Pro. I did actually the week before I did a show saying I'm going to buy this thing, and I had donations coming in on that one show like I'd never seen before, because my viewers wanted to be a part of it, and it made such a difference. It was fantastic.
It's cool, like especially these days that people come from a place of understanding. Because, like, for example, like I have my first sponsor, and I had a sponsor. My first sponsor was a couple months ago. Unfortunately, he passed away. And but even then, when I started doing that, I would do a little skit for him at the end of each video, and some people understood, thankfully. But you have people like, oh, you're just trying to make money and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, like I said, the mission has to be funded. We're not children. I have a child to raise, Like, even outside of this, I do car detailing. I do shows. I still do. I wake up every day at 4 a.m., do Uber, and then I come back here and do my videos.
Right.
I keep working around the clock in between all of this stuff as well, because there's bills that need to be paid, So we're not children. And I try to get people to understand that. Like, it's not that I'm just trying to be scummy and say, look, I'm making this content. You guys owe me $5 a video. I don't think of it that way.
Yeah.
The donations are appreciated, but again, we're in a world where time doesn't equal money. What we make is value based, and if people feel like we gave them value, that's what we get paid.
Right.
I'm sure you're familiar with busking.
Yeah, sure.
So we did the Busker Fest over in Halifax. A friend of mine.
Okay.
I've done a lot. I do a lot of street shows and whatnot, flipping over people, stuff like that. But it's value based, so it's like we make tips while we're there.
Yeah.
If I put on a show where I do head spins or whatever the case is, we do a little speech at the end and let them know it's a street theater, and if you guys could pay us accordingly to what you think we deserve.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, we make, especially over in Halifax for the Busker Festival, dude, when I tell you we make minimum, I'm talking about hundreds a show, and our show is 20 minutes, and we bust out about 9-10 of those a day.
Yeah.
We have those we're making $1,000, $2,000 a show.
Yeah. It's good money.
Not so much more about the money. Personally, I would say it's not that I don't like money. I don't care solely about money, because I see what it does to people.
Yeah.
Especially in a place like America. Like I always tell people, and they get a little offended, but the way I see it, America doesn't have like a true culture, because it's such a big melting pot of people from all over the world.
Right.
Or they cater to money and status. And I think that's gotten away from a lot of people. They don't really focus on other things that are more important.
Yeah.
When it comes to money, if I make $1 million, to me, it means nothing if I didn't enjoy thoroughly what I did to get that money.
Yeah. Right.
And that's how.
Yeah, I hear you there, man. I hear you there. Yeah, it's an amazing world in which we live. We're able to do what it is we do. I'm older than you are now. I can't do the Uber thing and do YouTube at the same time. I have to sit here and pace myself. But yeah, there was a time, 10, 20, 30 years ago, I worked at anything I could get my hands on to make a go of it. And I always enjoyed, if I liked doing it, it wasn't work. It really wouldn't be work. And I'm finding that with YouTube most of the time. I know that I'm putting in my 10, 12, 14 hours a day. I'm up most days between 4:30 in the morning and 7:30 in the morning. Somewhere in there I wake up.
It takes time, and that's what I explain to people. You see the comments of people saying, oh, you're just trying to get views, you're trying to make money. But I said, it has to be bigger than that because I'm sorry, we put in a lot of work, and sometimes, and a lot of times, we may not be compensated for what the work we put in.
True.
Kind of down to an hourly rate or whatever.
Oh yeah, break it down to an hourly rate.
You have to enjoy this to some degree in order to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I'm telling you, think about like people, like I said, like just the process of it all. We sit here, especially if we're doing daily content, which means we're reading articles and trying to get as much validated information. I'm contacting my friends that are on ships. Hey, is this true? What have you heard? Blah, blah, blah. I'm doing this every single day, and waking up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to sit there for hours to do that, then proceed to put some type of a basic plot or script together, along with a couple jokes here and there to keep things and people engaged, and then to record, overlay all the stuff and edit it and publish it. It's a process.
Yeah.
It is a process.
Yeah, sure is. Sure is. And then, and I like my day today, I did a video earlier today, which took me about 3 hours of work because you get faster when you've done it a while. You just get quicker at it. And then get ready for my 2 live shows, my sponsor member show, this show. And then when I'm done here, I'll do some additional work on my SEO and stuff for this live show. But then get ready for tomorrow. And here we go again, and while all that's going on, I have a greeting card that I'm putting together for Traveling with Bruce, a crested greeting card, which will be a fundraiser for the channel. And I'm constantly thinking of ways to promote my sponsor memberships, because I do a special 1 hour show a week just for those guys. And they all get one of these if you're a sponsor member. And it's just a nonstop, how do I make the channel a better place? Keeping an eye on what others are doing, because it's never standing still. You can't rely on what you did 3 years ago to make it go, but you got to keep moving forward. And then on top of everything else, just living your life. That's
the big thing that I think people forget about. I'm like, guys, I have a son. Okay. I do a lot of shows. Like I'm contracted with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I work at these local clubs over here on Friday, Saturday nights. I do shows left and right. I do car detailing. There's so much stuff going on outside of this. And then me being a professional breakdancer and acrobat, I practice almost every night.
Yeah.
I mean, so I go to gymnastics gym, I go flip around and stuff, and then wake up at 4 a.m. after doing double backflips and stuff and working on this stuff all night. It's a lot. It really, really is.
Yeah. Well, you're still relatively young. I don't know, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
27. I'll be 28 November 8th.
Right on. Man, I wish I were that young. I wish I were in my 30s now with what YouTube is, because this didn't exist when I was 35, 45. I couldn't have done this 10 years ago to the way none of us could have.
I think it's amazing that, like, let's say somebody that, I don't know, how old are you?
I'm 65.
Okay, yeah, but still, that's amazing that you still saw the opportunity. Because when I tell people that are even my age, they swear I'm lying. They said, "Oh, come on now! Like, what else are you doing on the side?" Blah, blah. I said, "No, like, I am making a full-time living on YouTube. I got to put in work." They're like, "Yeah, but you're working 24/7." I'm like, "Yeah, it starts out that way. I know what I do first of all, but depending on how you decide to do your content, there are a lot of people in their growth stage where they do daily, but there are people like, let's say, what's the guys, Cruiser, Ben, and David. They do one upload a week.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. They'll put out tours and stuff like that. But it's like you can always transition. But you got to go with what works for now. I don't mind. I call this the grunt work because I got to keep people updated on what's going on. But at the same time, I see the possibilities.
Yeah.
I tell people this stuff. I'm like, you have to understand, this is the digital revolution, and there is no going back. And I'm telling you how people are saying that they wish they could have invested in Google and Amazon when they first started. We're in that phase right now with YouTube, and maybe some people feel right one way or the other. Let's say in stocks, investing in the EV market, where there is going to be an electrical vehicle boom, and the ICE cars are going to go away. I said, look, we're but in a global spectrum, we're in early.
Yeah. Yep.
What's happening? A lot of people aren't going to be going back to work at your traditional cubicle when this is done.
Nope.
And I tell people this. I said, look, YouTube, build social media, because you're living in a world where you can potentially connect with the entire world.
That's right.
So it's like if you work in a value-based industry, you can make whatever you want. Like, I know what I am. I'm just a young guy talking about cruise ships of all things. I stand out, and I understand that. I understand that perspective of it. And cruise lines coming up, like Virgin Voyages. Let's say down the road, if I have a bigger subscriber base, you're talking about potential. I'm not saying it would happen, but with other companies, brand deals, you're talking about them hiring or having you come on as an influencer. Lines, they bring people on for their inaugural cruises and stuff all the time. Travel agents, everybody. I have friends that work for that work on the Scarlet Lady. They said, yeah, we had influencers on Instagram and stuff that got free cabins to come on the cruise.
That was over in Dover in the UK.
Yeah. I mean, it's not maybe just more so for the stuff, but the opportunities will come your way just off that alone.
Yeah, exactly.
People, influence is a powerful thing. And it's like the way I see it from a marketing standpoint with me being a younger guy, you're talking about, let's say theoretically, I were to bring people of my age to cruising. For the cruise lines, you're talking about potentially bringing in clients that are going to continue coming in all the way throughout retirement the minute they realize what cruising and how great it is.
Yeah.
I put a cap on what that can make in revenue for them. And that's how I look at it. I say, I can build this influence.
Yeah.
No, I love what I do, but if I built this influence too, I could, of course, be fine myself financially while also giving value to people. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You speaking of the Scarlet Lady just reminded me that the ship had influencers on there when they were in Dover. This is the beginning of the year. And one of the influencers that was on that ship was a gal named Emma. She has a channel called Emma Cruises. She's from the UK. And I have her joining me Wednesday night on this channel for a live chat.
Great.
So Emma and I will be on 8 o'clock. Let me think about this timing. It's going to be because she's in the UK. It's 8 o'clock UK time, 3 o'clock Eastern time for you New Yorkers and Floridians. Noon Pacific time is when I will be on with Emma this Wednesday, day after tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'm on Emma's channel to help her out on her end. And that'll be 5 o'clock UK time, noon New York time, and 9 o'clock my time. So Emma and I will get together and have another chat. But she was on that ship, and she did a video about it. She was not all that impressed with it. She loved things, but she didn't like things.
Well, especially back then, there wasn't a lot of video footage and information. So I did check out that video.
Yeah.
Saw the tiny pool in the IKEA rooms, a lot of people with it. So I said, you know what? But little things like that, once you build an influence, people are going to want your opinion on things. And you have cruise lines. So the cruise industry is what, a $117 billion industry?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Like, you look at that, and for any particular cruise, and this is how I break it down to my friends, marketing is going to be, no matter what, is without a doubt the biggest expense for any particular company, especially a service-based company. They have to market. They have to, And for me, I said, like these companies are hiring these influencers left and right. And for them, they're giving them where they would pay, let's say, $1 million in marketing. They can give this influencer potentially $50,000, which is a drop for them. And the influencer's happy, and they are getting more so direct clientele into their their system.
Oh, for sure. Getting you on a cruise ship when we get restarted again. If the Virgin people got you on their ship for a 1-week cruise, would be invaluable, because they made a deal with you to say, we'll put you in a rock star suite, one of the high-end suites, and all we're asking is make 3 videos during the week. Yeah. For you to knock off 3 videos during a week, that would be like taking a week off.
Exactly. Exactly.
Same for me. But if Viking Ocean Line Cruises came to me and said, you're a 65-year-old guy, our average cruiser is 65. We'd love to have you on our cruise for a week. You tell your subscribers, your 60,000+ subscribers, how what it's all about. That would make sense, and it's cheap for the cruise line to give you a cabin or to give me a cabin.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that costs
they're cheap.
That costs them nothing. People might say that's expensive and that's impossible, but again, to buy a flight, I've worked as far as logistics, even working with the Globetrotters, I was in charge of making sure all that stuff got done. Making sure that there were 30 plane tickets booked, make sure there were 30 rooms booked for the Grand Hyatt and stuff,
Yeah.
These companies, they have that money. They do. Like what would seem like a lot of money to us is chump change with them, because if you look at these companies, like what we were talking about earlier, with their market caps and their evaluations, these companies are willing to spend in order for somebody like a direct audience, something that we can provide, because they're going in dark. If they, let's say they jump on a Super Bowl commercial,
Yeah.
right? We're gonna run them what, $2 million
$2
for
million. Yeah. 30 seconds.
yeah, you know, and it gets a little bit more pricier, I believe, as it creeps into halftime, right?
Yeah.
Talking about, yeah, you might as far as like your reach millions of people, but they're not the correct audience.
No.
With near you, people
Yeah.
are out of their way. So I'm averaging around, let's say, between over 250,000, 500,000 viewers a month.
Yeah.
The best month I had was just under, it was like 800,000.
Yeah.
You know, but you're
all cruisers.
Yes. People have gone out of their way. It might seem like a small thing to do, but when people click on your video, that's still a big step in the grand scheme of things. It shows that they're interested.
Right.
These companies are really starting to look at this and say, wait a minute, there's a person that's specifically talking about this and they have a pretty decent sized following. Let's talk with them and work out a deal.
Yep. That's right. Any cruise line that hires you or I to do either do a cruise, which would make the most sense.
Yeah.
You know, even if you and I were to announce that we were on a specific ship, say, and to do our thing for a week, by the time we came back, we'd have 4 to 5 videos easily put together that we could put out there.
Exactly, it's valuable.
It's invaluable advertising for the cruise line. It would be the cheapest form of advertising for the bang for the buck that they would get. Plus the fact that if you had 100 viewers show up with your ship and 100 showed up on my ship, just the markup they're making on those guys more than pays for us everything they're throwing at us that we couldn't spend enough.
Exactly. So, and that's how I look at it. Like, again, I don't look at this channel as all business, but I also understand where it can go. Like I said, I do believe that when all this is over, there's going to be a travel boom. But also in that sense, too, cruise lines, unfortunately, you know, their reputation has been extremely tarnished. And whether it's their fault or not, that's just the fact. And cruise lines are going to have to do whatever they can to rebuild their reputation.
Right.
So I look at it, I said, you know what? They could hire somebody like you or me and say, all right, these guys are representatives. They, you know, and I try to be, both of us actually, I know we're pretty even-handed when it comes to our opinion on the thing, on cruising. I have no problem saying that a particular cruise line probably could have done something better. But phone is going to get a lot of attention. They say, you know what, this guy isn't going to be trying to suck up to us. He's going to tell the truth. He's going to tell it like it is. And that's kind of what they need.
Yeah, that's right. An honest opinion.
You know, we need somebody, let's say, to go on Scarlet Lady and say that the rooms look like they were made from IKEA. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that stuff alone is invaluable because it's going to, even though it may not be exactly what let's say, good for PR.
Yeah.
It's going to relate more to the people, and they're going to take that in more than me just going on a ship and saying, this is the best ship I've ever been on, and the buffet and the bingo, it's amazing. People are going to relate more to realistic than they are, you know.
Yeah, I agree. You know, viewers count on us for, you know, an honest assessment of what's going on. I mean, my viewers, most of my viewers, they say to me, Bruce, tell it the way it is. Don't hold back on us. If it's bad news, give it to us. We'd rather hear from you because the cruise lines are not going to give us bad news. They're going to give us the kumbaya around the campfire story.
Exactly.
Great everything else.
Exactly. There was one video that you made. I saw the comment section. I'm just like, geez, guys. It was when you talked about with cruising potentially not happening until what, 2022, or fully not coming back until 2022.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People lost their minds. I said, oh my God. You know, I saw the title. I said, oh man, I gotta watch some of this. And you know, the comment section is the most entertaining, sometimes depressing place you could ever go to. And I had to look for it. I said, I wonder what they're saying about this and how people feel, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's the key. And you know, again, even at the beginning, I was telling people, I said, listen, it's gonna take longer than you guys think. This isn't you take a break for a month and then you come right back. It's impossible. Can't happen that way.
Right.
You know, it was met with a lot of criticism, you know, because I'm a former crew member. The big thing that people would say, oh, he got fired. So he, you know, this guy got fired from cruise line. Now he's trying to get back at him. And I'm like, I'm doing a lot of work to get back at a cruise line. Get fired. I finished a contract. They're like, yeah, but that's the same thing as getting fired. I'm like, no.
No.
On a cruise ship, people are contracted. They're not hired. I'm not an employee where I can go back as I please.
Right.
Contract, 6-month contract, we're done. The show I did doesn't even exist anymore. So
Exactly right.
you know, I sat down to people and they would, I'm telling you, tooth and nail, they would just argue and argue. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. You have a good day.
Yeah, you have to let it go. I find that when I first started out, the first year and a half, I had no problem keeping up with all my messages because, you know, I get 5 in a day. I go, 5 messages today. Yay.
Oh.
Nowadays, I'll get 1,000 messages a day now. And, you know, 200 of them are automatically
up. And like, even when I started, because one thing that helped me grow out of the gate, I looked at the basics of YouTube and I saw the engagement and I said, you know what? I'm going to reply to every comment, no matter what. And then when my channel started taking off and I ended up with, you know, 700, 800, 1,000 plus comments, I'm like, yeah, every one of my videos, I'll do a skim through, you know, I'll try to get people that, you know, that I'm talking about the day ones that are on every video, they comment on every video. I try to get to them.
Sure.
Then with the emails, people will email, you know, but it's just, you'll get some emails that are good. Some people trying to critique you and say what you need to work on and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can't get to all that. I can't.
No, it can't. No, I have my filters. The YouTube has filters built in to get the really grotesque comments right out of there, which they do. And then there are questionable comments that I have to review. Even those, I just have a tough time keeping up with that. And I'm not large enough as a YouTuber yet to hire anyone to do this extra work. I'm not making enough yet to really make an absolute go of it yet, because these numbers fluctuate. As you say, our channels fluctuate all the time.
I don't know if it's just me. I don't know how you feel about comfortable talking about this subject, right? So for the first time, I don't know if it's because I was in Europe and maybe demographic changed or whatever the case is, or I wasn't putting outbreak or ad breaks in my videos. My ad revenue in the past week and a half has dropped by half.
Oh yeah, I'm down 80% in 3 weeks.
Okay, all right, so it's not just me. I said my numbers were the same. I said, you know, I hit this past while I was over in Europe, this past month of September, I did 400,000 views, like 1.5 million minutes in watch time.
Yeah.
And, like, I looked at the revenue. I said, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Is my channel being hacked, or, you know?
Yeah. That's what I was wondering about too. Started for me in the middle of September, and had all kinds of nonsense going on with my ad rates. They just went out of control. I went to YouTube and I questioned it. They gave me the standard. No, everything looks okay here. You know,
I wasn't even gonna try. I was like, you know,
first 10 days of October, the ad rates are all screwed up. Yesterday, Sunday, my ad rate was 1/6 normal.
Yes,
on a per 1,000 watch basis.
I see it going. I'm like, it's going down. I'm talking about over $1,000 gone. I said, what is happening here?
Yeah.
You know, and like right now too, because I believe, like, there's a lot of theories on how the algorithm works. I believe there is a such thing as being kind of vetted into the algorithm. Like, I would say Don is extremely vetted into the algorithm because he's been posting every day for years.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And videos, I'm like, man, this guy, he gets the views. He does the job. He does what needs to be done, for sure.
Sure.
But there's days like I'll take a break, or you know, you can change something. Like, for example, there's an algorithm. If I'm talking about cruise ships today and then tomorrow I turn around and start talking about cooking recipes, it's obviously not going to do well.
No.
If it's something that, let's say if I make the most amazing video, my audience isn't going to like it, and then it might not reach that core group of people because the algorithm isn't used to promoting my channel to those people.
Yeah.
You know, even right now, like my views for my channel is I said, you know what? Like, I understand these things happen. You know, work my way back up in the ranks. I got to have a really, really solid video that does well. But the truth is, you never know what video is going to do well.
Well, and in the environment we're in right now, we're not in anything normal. So, you know, we can do everything we can do as hard as we want to work, and as much content as we want to create. The reality, though, is at the end of the day, we're not in normal times. We're not in normal circumstances. There are no cruises that we can point to where we can say, I will definitely be on that ship, because just today, Carnival announced we're canceling our cruises for November. Here's another one.
Some people like that. I had to, you know, I talked about this in my live this past Sunday. You know, what happened? Who was it? Who was first at it? It was NCL before Royal Caribbean, right? They did what last week they canceled.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I said, guys, unfortunately, Royal Caribbean is going to be next. And everybody, even in my Facebook group, they said, how could you say that? I said, well,
watch.
they're working together. The Healthy Cell Panel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it only makes sense. And sure enough, it's,
Yeah.
don't put bad luck. I said, no, it only makes sense logically. If they're working together, it's going to happen. And then I said this past Sunday, I said, we're going to hear from Carnival because we're about halfway there. We're going to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I would say now, too, as far as December, which I really don't see happening because that's too crazy already. Even when the world's normal, that's too hectic of a year or a time of year to bring cruising back. You know, it's not your traditional, you might see your basic family 4-pack on the cruise. You're talking about people doing family reunions, grandma, grandpa. Everybody has all these long-term arrangements for holiday season. And I couldn't even imagine how cruise lines are going to use that time to come back and restructure and reorganize.
Yeah.
But we do get, I think if we need some solid, talking about government approval, CDC approval, at least by maybe end of this month or the very, very beginning of November. It couldn't go any other way.
Yeah. It's unbelievable there's so much uncertainty in front of us.
Yeah.
And we're just individual YouTube creators. We're trying to follow an industry that is decimated worldwide.
The industry, the way I describe it, the industry is in a coma right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a good opportunity for me to grow my channel because I was able to give a little bit of realistic insight for people. But at the same time, it's unfortunate with what's going on because I see all the negativity going on as well. But one thing, and I'm sure you catch a lot of flack for it too, because both of us, we try to be unbiased and still realistic about everything going on.
Yeah.
People will always say, "Oh, you're always speculating," and I tell people, I said, you know what? Unfortunately, with everything going on, it's all unpredictable, and until it happens, it is going to be speculation because things could change at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
So all we can really do, unless it's news that has already happened, that's the only facts we can bring out. Everything else is speculation.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And we're doing the best we can with what we have where we are. Yeah. And, the world out there, we don't control it. We're just reporting on it. These CEOs of these cruise lines are under unbearable pressure to deliver to their investors and shareholders and employees and everything else. You and I, wouldn't it be great if we could be on a cruise a month from now to be in some nice warm weather and visit with our peeps and our channels are growing and thriving? Yeah, that's what we want. It's exactly what we want, but we don't have it. We're not going to have it for a while yet. We have to be realistic to say it's possible we may not cruise for the majority of 2021 because this pandemic doesn't care. It doesn't care what we want, and it doesn't care what we think, and it doesn't care who we like or not like. It matters not. The pandemic is a survivor in human hosts, unfortunately, and there are too many easy hosts to find and infect right now for the pandemic to be defeated. And an artificial defeat of a vaccine isn't here. And until there is one and people actually take the vaccine, this pandemic's going to be things to be around a while.
Exactly. I just think also as well, what I was saying, this, especially coming back from the UK, things, in a lot of ways, it's similar to the United States. A lot of confusion. Nobody knows. You can go to one part of the town and nobody's wearing masks, nobody's social distancing. I was in East London, nobody cared over there. And then you go to, I'm starting to slowly realize how weird it was. You can go over near Heathrow, right? And they have what's called a track and trace over there, where you're not allowed to go into any establishment, any business, unless you scan with your phone the QR code and tell them where you've been. You put in your information and how long you intend on staying on the premises or on the property.
Interesting.
So, and now they're all shut down. My girlfriend, she's over. So I helped her get moved in over in Birmingham. That's where she is right now. And we're on lockdown now. And literally, as soon as I got out of there, they say numbers spiked up. So they're locking everything down. And then when I was there as well, it was a 10 o'clock curfew for every business.
Yeah. Yeah. They're taking it serious over there. Here in Canada, our numbers have been rising with the second wave. And the government, the provincial governments, like state governments,
Yeah.
they've absolutely stepped up. No question about it. Here, even in this little town of 5,000, to go into my grocery store, I got to have my mask on. If I don't have a mask, they'll provide me with one as politely as they can, because it's illegal now to be in there without the mask on, and everyone has it, and there's no issues.
But see,
We all buy into it.
There's that. Like I said, I understand on a worldwide level it can't be organized, but it's just from state to state, from country to country, things vary very differently.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Flying back here to Florida, so I work in a nightclub, right? One of the gigs I did this past weekend, it was packed, and it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. I was away from them because I was up on stage.
Yeah.
No, there was no mask. There was no. I'm sure you've been to Tampa Bay.
Only as a child, many decades ago.
Ybor City. It's really historic, and it's also where the clubs and bars are. It was packed to the brim. I'm talking about no social distancing, no 50%. They claimed, they told us that, look, it's going to be 50% occupancy.
Oh no!
Since I was 18, when I was partying back then, and that it was one of those situations where you got to kind of dance your way through because there was that many people.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, I wonder how this is going to end,
No kidding. Just wait for the numbers to spike. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. No, it's something that's out of our control in a way, but we can control it in a way. Personal behavior is what it's about, right? And that's what we've got to do.
Agreed.
Oh man, I got to tell you, it's been a treat having you here tonight, buddy.
Yeah, no, this was great. This really was.
It was great. I want to give a special shout out to Debbie Emanuel. I just saw a donation come in to me through a PayPal donation. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, Debbie, for that. It's not the first time she's done that. Thank you. All of you out there, make sure to make a donation to this guy on his PayPal site. And support him. You're on the right track, my friend. Keep it going on your end. One of these days, we'll do a show on your channel, and you can bring me in, and we'll talk, and we'll compare notes about what's going on.
Yeah, well, hopefully by the time we do that, things will be a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
With this whole COVID thing and everything going on and whatnot, unfortunately, there's just ups and downs. We get the good news and we get the bad news, and it seems like it's been a roller coaster ever since. And some people are just fed up with it. Some people are still trying to remain optimistic.
Yeah,
it's been a lot for everybody. So
it's been something. It's been a well, I would like to say it's a once in a lifetime experience, because I don't ever want to see this happen to anyone ever again. But this experience isn't over. We're still dealing with it, and we'll see how much longer this takes.
I understand. Some people seem to think there's a deadline. They think election day or the end of 2020 that's when everything's gonna be okay. And I'm like, guys, this doesn't have a contract.
Yeah.
Walk away on New Year's Day.
Right. That's right, man. That's right. I agree. It's been something that we'll never forget. We'll be passing this on to our kids. But we do have to take care of ourselves, and we'll just take it one day at a time, which is all we can do. Justin, thank you so much for being with me tonight. It's been great. I know a bunch of my followers will be following your channel for sure. And
I got my crowd to come over, I believe. So this is definitely needed. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll make sure to say hi to the other guys over at Lita Loca and Don's family channels.
Definitely.
We'll see if we can figure out a way to
shout out every now and then. I appreciate it. I really do. I know you guys even before I started my YouTube channel. So it's like I see this and I'm like, oh, you guys hear Tony shouted me out. You hear? So
it's a small community. There's only so many people that actually are creators that can actually tolerate the life that you have to tolerate to be one. Because I've had friends of mine ask me, "Oh, it must be great being a YouTube creator. Did you find it easy?" I go, "No." Did you make a whole bunch of money right away? No.
I think, like I said, YouTube is I wouldn't say a game, but it is a game of perseverance. You have to push through. You'll make it, but you have to get through that hard part. Like for a year straight, I was still knowing my video was only going to get 1,000, if I was lucky, 1,000 views. I continued to push content out.
Yeah.
Continued. I said, you know what? The opportunity is going to come. Let me just keep moving, keep
Right.
it, you know. And I saw this whole situation with the virus on the what is that? The Diamond Princess. I said, this is going to be big, and people are going to misconstrue this and not really understand why all this is happening.
Right.
Like that, I did as much research because I knew I'd be crossing over to like the mainstream cruising. And I said, you know what? Let me do as much research as I can because I already knew you guys were already on it. I said, you know what? I have no choice. I have to still kind of cross over, but I have to learn as much as I can and just go in with the intention of, you know, learning.
Right.
You know, so I've had bad videos. I've had videos that just took off. And I said, okay, wow, this is working. Let's keep going and see how we can just, you know, push.
Right on, man. Now, one more question for you before we let you go.
Sure.
Do you have you got like a Facebook page or group page or anything for your channel?
A Facebook group. We're about, what, 2,000 strong?
Okay, and it's called the Shiplife?
Yeah. I have a link. So in all my videos, I link the group page. They just, you know, go to any of my videos, go to the description box, and boom, there it is.
Right on. So if anybody wants to get a direct message to you, they can direct message you through Facebook or...
On there, I leave my email, of course. I leave my email. I leave my Facebook, and I may still have my Instagram on there as well. But I always tell people if they want to reach me, they can just either go to the Facebook group and then send me a message on Facebook Messenger. I usually respond pretty quickly there.
Right on. That's the way to do it. I noticed there's a comment here from Edward Gutowski. How can we reach you? The best way to reach me either is just through my email, which is usually down below in the info on any of my videos. I'm not sure about this one, but it should be. There should be a link down below. Or you just go to the Facebook group page for Traveling with Bruce, spelled with 2 L's. We have a following there, and you can direct message me there, just like Justin here, and talk to us and let us know what you want to do. If there's any sponsors out there that want to sponsor Justin or Bruce, you can reach us.
I'm always down to go shave. We can sign some contracts.
Always available. Absolutely.
Funded, you know. People don't like about the money, but at the same time, that's how we continue being able to create content. If I didn't have the time, you didn't have the time, we'd rush through every video, leaving out all the details and the entertainment and everything we provide. So right on,
exactly. Thank you, Rebecca, for your comment, saying hi to us and how much you enjoyed the show. Thank you, Debbie Emanuel, for your comment and your donation tonight. Very much appreciated. Let's see, it was we got Keeping Up with Cruising saying it was fun seeing your early videos, Shiplife. Edward is saying, just let me know, support you both. AOL Bruce said it best weeks ago, the virus does not care about your political affiliations. Mermaid doesn't think masks do anything. Justin, can you make a recreation video to this video you were in? I'm not sure what that means. A reaction video to this video you were in. I'm not sure if he wants to talk to you about what you did here or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway, crazy comment. Justin, thanks again, buddy. Have a great one tonight. Get some rest. You got a whole bunch of work to do tomorrow. There's no
back on it tomorrow, so
there's no mercy for us, my man.
Oh.
And to all of you out there who are watching Justin and I tonight, thank you, all of you, for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. We love you guys. Subscribe to our channel. Throw us thumbs ups whenever you're watching us. We really appreciate it. We love getting your comments. And don't forget about making donations our way because we need the money.
Especially right now.
That's all I can say.
It was dropping, you know.
Right on, it. Thanks, Justin. Have a great one. And we're going to sign off right here. And, you know, folks, join me on Wednesday. I'm going to be hanging out with Emma on Wednesday and on Friday. And keep your eye on Justin's channel, The Shiplife, because there's new content coming up there all the time.
All right. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin. Have a good one, buddy. All right. Good night, all.